After just over a year in early access, Stormgate is launching this week with Ashes of Earth, which includes its first full campaign, as well as most of the rest of its content suite in some form or another. But at the jump here, if you're a little confused, I understand, I was too. Initially, this update was positioned as the rather uninspired Update 0.6. But after the realization that this is not a great way to communicate that the game is, as Frostgiant put it, ready for a much broader audience, it's been rebranded as Ashes of Earth, and it marks Stormgate's official exit from Steam Early Access. But I wouldn't be calling it feature complete by any means, considering the co-op and editor are still in their testing phase. But they are playable, and the first campaign, plus the 1v1 mode are done, so I guess that's good enough for now. Whatever way you package it, Ashes of Earth is the game's first campaign, focusing on the human faction. You can kind of look at it how StarCraft 2 launched with just one campaign with the Terrans, then expanded the story with Heart of the Swarm and Legacy of the Void later on. The base game is free to play, and you'll get the first few missions on the house. If you want to play the entire 12 mission campaign, then I've been told it'll cost you around $25 through the in-game shop. It also comes bundled with the Ultimate Pack on Steam for a much pricier $65 or thereabouts, though other things are included with that as well. I think $25 is a fair price for a campaign like this, and I think that the first few missions being free for everyone is a great thing, so any potential purchasers can decide if they like it first. As part of the free-to-play model, you can also play the 1v1 mode with AI or real players, and test the other big modes inside Sigma Labs, so you can try out still in development features. These include the 3v3 team skirmish mode, which isn't there yet, but is coming soon, co-op missions, and the much talked about mission editor, which will undoubtedly lead to cool stuff being made by people much smarter than me. And now, before we get too far here, I do want to address the elephant in the room. Stormgate has had a bit of a rough reception since its launch into early access. There has been a decent amount of criticism levelled at the game's monetization, as well as its treatment of early backers on Kickstarter by selling day one DLC that was not given to supporters who had bought the high-end bundles and thought they'd be getting everything as part of that deal. It also had issues with some people not loving the art style, the amount of content that was available for the prices they were asking, not to mention the confusing structure of that pricing, and I'm sure there were other things too. That's all to say that Stormgate has some baggage. Too much for me to cover in this video. Alas, I am just a humble YouTuber looking to review the content in front of me to help people in a similar position make an informed decision. If you've been with the game since day one and have your gripes with it, that's totally valid, and this video maybe isn't for you. But please do leave your opinions on the game in the comments if you'd like to add some insight. I'm going to be assessing the single player side of things today as they stand for the price they're available at now. If you watched my videos before this, you'll maybe know that I'm not one for competitive play, and considering the pedigree of the team behind Stormgate and the talk they've been talking about their RTS inspirations, the campaign is what I'm really interested in. I'll dabble with skirmish, sure, and it's with that in particular that I do actually have some issues, but I won't be playing or commenting on PvP or fine gameplay balance, as that's just not for me, and I don't have anything to add there. Plus, there's already other people out there who will do a much better job at that than me. I'm also not by any means a Blizzard RTS fanatic, or someone with foundational knowledge of the RTSs that Stormgate takes inspiration from. So if you're typing out a comment about how something I said was already a thing in StarCraft 2, or as a reference to some obscure custom mode for Warcraft 3, you're totally right. I'm wrong. Very good. But no matter what modes you're interested in, I do have some significant issues that relate to the game's technical foundations, and they apply to basically everyone. So hey, maybe there will be something here for you after all. This video will be mostly spoiler free. I won't show any campaign footage past mission 5 of 12, or talk any story specifics. Alright, with that out of the way, let's do this. Now, I did not play Stormgate's original early access campaign, but I heard it wasn't exactly great. As did Frostgiant apparently, as they significantly overhauled it from what was available in the initial stages of the early access period, including, and I quote, rewriting an entirely new narrative structure, recording new dialogue, and creating a new hub area to explore in between missions. And spoilers for the rest of this video, as the campaign stands now, I quite like it. The 12 missions are split into 4 acts, as you follow a team of humans who have returned to Earth in their honestly sick-ass looking spaceship after I guess you could call it a slight scientific oopsie, where a portal to hell was opened and essentially led to the conquering of our planet by the demonic forces that swarmed through it. Yeah, bit of a mistake there. The first thing that will catch your eye about Stormgate once you start the campaign is that the art style is quite distinctive? Maybe that's a good word for it. Some, not me, have described it as looking like a Fortnite cosplay, but I will not be that harsh on it, because I reckon it looks pretty good, honestly. Like, sue me, but I think it looks nice. Now, I do understand how some could see it as looking cartoony, but I think it rides the line pretty well. It's definitely distinctive, but it's also very consistent across the whole game, and it's 3 very unique looking factions. Whatever side of the fence you land on with the art style though, it's hard to argue against the quality of it, because in that department I think it absolutely ticks those big budget RTS boxes. There's beautiful environments, detailed animations, particularly with the buildings, great unit models, loads of cool effects, there's a really nice looking day-night cycle. Yeah, it's all there. I think this is one aspect Stormgate has improved upon quite significantly since its announcement and initial release, so kudos for that. It also runs pretty great as well, at least on my PC. I've got an RTX 5070 and have been playing it at 4K high settings, and have seen no significant frame issues even when things get hectic. You can turn on frame gen if you have a compatible card, but that disables VSync, so I've had that off. But for reference, it took my average FPS from around 65 up to 90 or so. I've also not experienced any crashes or bugs of any sort, which is really great to see. It's nice to see that they've been using the early access period to polish this thing up. The campaign begins with what I guess I would call as the game's main character, Amara. She's the daughter of old mate scientist here who was involved in the whole demonic invasion thing, so she's got a personal stake in the mission to figure out what actually happened, find out any info about her lost dad, and determine whether any of this godforsaken planet can be salvaged. Though it doesn't look great. Stormgate implements a lot of mechanics that you'll recognise from other RTS games, particularly Blizzard ones, which considering the team behind it is no surprise. The Vanguard harvest resources, kind of like how the humans do in Warcraft 3. The unique heroes can equip items, upgrade levels, and use abilities. Units can be upgraded both in missions and in the campaign's hub world, where you can spend credits to buy new abilities and stat buffs. You get the idea. Now just on this hub here, it's nothing we haven't seen before, mostly in other genres, but I do like its inclusion in an RTS campaign. It gives a moment to breathe between missions, you can explore a bit of the lore, and talk to some of the characters on your ship, and as mentioned before, improve your units for the next deployment. And also, speaking of lore, the game has a really cool codex that delves into basically anything you want to know about the game: units, ships, histories, characters. I really love it, and I wish every game had this. Mission variety here has been something I've been quite impressed with. It's not often you'll be playing the same kind of mission one after another, and even just in these first 5, you'll be infiltrating bases, protecting a convoy, fighting off waves of enemies while protecting a VIP. I mean, it's nothing we haven't seen in other RTSs before, let's be honest, but I feel like we've probably run out of unique RTS scenarios at this point. I like how Stormgate includes some curveballs in these missions to add spice, like environmental interactions, side objectives, stealth mechanics, and some missions where you aren't even building a base at all and you're just using your heroes. Thanks to the wide variety of units and heroes, each mission plays great. There are lots of options and choices to make in how you go about completing your objective, and I think the fact that the game feels so responsive makes doing so much more satisfying. Like, it's a very precise game, if that makes sense. The grid system, for example, lets you build exactly where you want. Abilities have very specific targeting hitboxes and range limits, and there's even a mission where you have to route stealth units throughout what is essentially a maze of sensors to thread the needle to where you won't be seen. It's short and sweet, but it's tense and it's exciting. It felt great. I can honestly say that after finishing every mission, I was excited to see what Frost Giant had in store for me in the next one. I stayed up way too late for a couple of nights finishing it off, and I found it had that classic just one more mission feeling you get from a great RTS campaign. While the story didn't blow me away, it was serviceable enough with some decent characters and a few good moments. The opening cutscene in particular is really cool. I love the atmosphere, and it sets a great tone for coming back to Earth after all this time to retake your planet. Make no mistake, this is a proper RTS campaign. It is not phoned in at all. It's got cutscenes, it's got well-designed levels, it's decently challenging, especially at points. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I reckon if you're looking for a solid, old-school, fully-fledged, traditional, real-time strategy single-player campaign, then this will serve you well. And if that was all I was reviewing about Stormgate, it would be an easy all-around recommendation. But unfortunately, it's not, and it isn't. Because Stormgate has some potentially deal-breaking technical limitations that I guarantee some of you out there will be very upset about. And in a way, these are intertwined with how the game handles its skirmish offering, so let's go over that first before I delve into that technical situation. The skirmish mode against the AI is currently quite limited. There are only maps for 1v1, and the number of them is quite small, though you can play 2v2 on a few maps inside the custom mode in Sigma Labs. I'm not exactly sure why it's set up this way, but I'm guessing it's because of the game's focus on 1v1 PvP, where AI skirmish specifically is meant to be an AI stand-in for that specific mode. But further to that, I do like how they've added some enemy options outside of the standard factions. So for example, instead of playing against the regular Infernal AI, you can choose Vokuka the Hag, who has a particular play pattern and a set of unique abilities to make for a much more distinct game than a standard 1v1, and it would be good practice for a newbie who wants to get into 1v1 PvP. There will be more of these in the future too, which is great. Currently there's just 2, but yeah, more coming. As part of the competitive suite, a 3v3 team battle is also coming sometime in the future, and hopefully there will be more maps created by the community through the editor. And I've also been told that there is work going on behind the scenes to add more options to custom games, to flesh out the ways you can play against the AI, and with friends that isn't just the Heroes co-op mode, which is also currently in Sigma Labs. Now, on to those technical problems. You may have heard this already, but Stormgate is always online. Now, for a free-to-play game with a focus on competitive play, that isn't a huge surprise, but that's obviously not all of what Stormgate is about. And because of this means you cannot play skirmish, custom games, or critically, the campaign, without an active internet connection. What does apply to the campaign though, and all other modes, is that if your connection drops mid-game, you will be booted from said game almost immediately, and thanks to there being no manual save system, with the only option being the admittedly quite robust autosave feature in the campaign, if you drop connection and are booted, that game is over and you cannot get it back. Now, I did ask Frostgiant about this, and they told me that the reason for this is because Stormgate was architected because the entire game is intended to be played in multiplayer of some sort, including the campaign down the line, and that there are plans to hopefully add offline play down the track. Which is obviously great to hear, but there are no dates for this, and there's no guarantee it'll happen outside of them just saying so, and like I do believe them, but who knows what can happen. To be frank, not being able to play the campaign without an internet connection sucks. But it also raises the question, if Frostgiant go out of business, what happens then? I mean, hope for the best and all, but as we all know, the games industry is in a real pickle right now, with rising costs, massive layoffs, and erratic player bases. Will Frostgiant have the money, time, and desire to allow the game to be played offline if the studio is shuttered and the servers are powered down? Honestly, I don't know. I like to think so, but there's no way to be sure. I mean, we're seeing now games that are being shut down, and when the servers are off, because they're always online, it's just done. That's what this whole stop killing games thing was about. So yeah, I guess right now we just hope for the best, which is not a great place to be in. So until we have certainty on that, I can't remove that question mark I have about the game, and therefore I cannot wholeheartedly recommend Stormgate, because I'd like to. But like, if you can't be sure that the campaign you'll buy for $25 will be able to be played a year or two from now, because maybe the game was cancelled and the studio was closed, who knows, it's something that's happening frighteningly frequently nowadays, do you want to put your money down on that? I don't know, I guess that's for you to decide, I guess. All I can do is give you the information and my opinion on the game's quality. I do obviously have issues with the technical side of things, but I did really enjoy the campaign. I think the game looks great, I think it plays great, the mission variety is solid, the story is good enough, and it's just nice to play a big budget, high quality, honest to goodness RTS campaign, you know? And if you like it, there's more coming down the road, like there's going to be a lot more content on the way, so that's something to look forward to if you're really into it. I genuinely hope that Frostgiant can address some of these problems I have in the future, because I like Stormgate, and I want it to succeed. Like, I hadn't played the game really before this, and I was surprised that I liked it so much. I didn't really know what to expect, and yeah, it surprised me. I really enjoyed it. Like, I want to be playing the other campaigns in a year or two from now, with the option to do it offline, and also the option to save it anytime I want. That'd be nice. But for now, I guess we'll just have to wait and see if that day comes and those problems are resolved. Now, Look, I'm just rambling at this point. I didn't really like how I wrapped the video without a definitive recommendation, so I guess I'll just say that you should definitely give the campaign a go because it's free. Like, download it on Steam for free, no cost, see what you think, and if you enjoy yourself, then you can consider dropping the $25 for the full thing if you're happy to overlook the always online aspect of it. If not, hey, enjoy the free content and maybe circle back in a year from now with your fingers crossed that you're able to play it offline, and then maybe consider buying it then. That's as much as I can say. Absolutely give it a try because it's free, decide what you think, and go from there. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I would love to hear your opinions on Stormgate now that it's had some time to cook and it's out of early access. Obviously, the reception was kind of mixed, but I think they've been doing pretty well. It's hard to say when you're not, super on the pulse of what the community thinks about a game. So let me know what you think down below, and I will see you down there. And if you want to support me and what I do here, then you can do so via YouTube memberships or Patreon. You will join the absolute legends: Dakayo Bad Ghosts, Sean, Grey Spirit 4, George, Pavel Brand, Christian, Dan, Orion Disrufkin, and Candy Bunny Bun. And my paladins, of course, absolute goats: Johnny, Marika, Tank, and Empyrean. Thank you everyone so much for watching, really appreciate it. Keep an eye on the channel in the coming weeks, trust me, you will want to. And I will see you all very soon.